Hi, Dirty Girl here with another sales report on eBay and Etsy for my vintage items. This is for the 2 weeks ending November 8th, 2015, and I'm just going to get started. This first is a rock collection that was part of a large lot of rocks and mineral samples and related things like arrowheads that I got at a thrift store. And I sold this once before, actually, but it came back to me because it arrived so damaged. It looked like a car had run over it. All the rocks were loose. The box was squashed. It was just a mess. So I refunded that customer, got it sent back, put it all back together using a photo as a guide to put the rocks in the right places, and kind of fixed up the box with tape and everything. It looks pretty good. I was pretty happy with how it turned out, and I sold it again, and I think this time it's going to stick. Sold it for $31, and the actual price of it was around $1. Next, I have these vintage Turkish eye beads. It's not working very well, is it? This was part of a belt that I got from my mother-in-law, probably dating from the 60s. It was really neat, and I was getting ready to list it, and it fell apart. The leather was just kind of rotten. So I ended up listing the belt buckle separately and these beads in a couple of different lots. Sold this handful of beads for $10, and it cost me nothing, of course. This little Hibbard Spencer Bartlett knife, I paid $7 for it at the flea market and sold it for $21. And another Hadson lighter, yay! This has just been the greatest thing, having all these lighters to sell. Again, the cost, it was part of an auction box. The cost was around $1, and I sold it for, whatever it said, $11.50. Moving on to my Etsy sales, I sold this Mexican alpaca bracelet with a mosaic center stone of like composite turquoise and mother of pearl and abalone, and that cost me nothing. Came from my mother-in-law, and I sold it for $14. Next is this Fairfax ladies watch. It was not in working condition, and I sold it for parts of repair. I paid $2 for it and sold it for $12. Then I have this antique book. It dates all the way back to 1841. And it's a religious book, Lectures on the Second Reformation, and I think probably it was bought because it has a pretty leather spine and a marbled cover, and I paid $2.50 for that and sold it for $29. Next up is a Schrade old-timer knife. I paid $7 for that at the flea market and sold it for $21. Next we have a military patch. It's a Special Forces, Army Special Forces patch, and that came in a baggie of stuff I got at the flea market with a whole bunch of buttons and patches and jewelry and stuff in it, and so I figured I paid less than 50 cents for this and sold it for $6. And this is a Florentine gold gilt painted wood tray from Florence, Italy. I bought that at the flea market for $5 and I sold it for $22. This is a small linen tablecloth with drawn work embroidery. It was a really pretty one. I think they used to call it a bridge cloth. May have had, let's see, bridge tape, did it have any? No napkins with it. But it was a real pretty one. And I paid $2 for that, I believe at an estate sale, and sold it for $16. This is a set of Mason's Ironstone salt and pepper shakers. Has a pretty transferware pattern in pink and purple. This has been sitting around for quite some time, so I was very pleased to have it sell. I paid $5 for it and sold it for $17. I got this little tiny Coca-Cola bottle at the flea market. I paid $1 for it and sold it for $9. Coca-Cola collectibles are just kind of mystifying to me. So I thought I would try it, and I guess it was okay. This was a really nice looking hunk of turquoise in this Navajo sterling silver ring. Paid $13 for it at the flea market and sold it for $33. I paid $3.10 for this very heavy copper is it bangle or cuff bracelet rather. I've had so many people look at this and favorite it and put it in treasuries and whatnot, so I was happy to see it sell. It sold for $14, which I think is a pretty darn good price for a nice heavy copper bracelet. This is another Navajo ring, a little more elaborate design, another really pretty piece of turquoise and sterling silver, and I paid, where'd it go? I paid $11 for this one. It was artist signed, and I sold it for $35. This was a pretty botanical print dating from 1939, and I paid $7.50 for that at, I think, an estate sale, and sold it for $28. You may have seen this bowl in a recent haul video. It's an enamelware bowl with a cowboy design. I couldn't find out who the maker was or anything. I paid $8 for it and sold it for $24. This is a solid copper paperweight of the U.S. Capitol. I bought that at a thrift store for $1 and sold it for $18. This is another gilt wooden piece from Florence, Italy. It's a little picture frame, a little oval picture frame. Has some age on it. I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $22. This cute little sailor boy, sterling silver from Forstner sterling silver. He's a World War II era pin. I took a chance on him because sometimes figural pins from that period will sell for really high. And so I paid $9 for him and sold him for $21. So not a huge profit, but good enough. This spoon rack came from my mother-in-law, and I sold it for $19 without the spoons. Those were just there for display. There seems to be a lot of interest in spoon racks all of a sudden. I don't know why. Maybe people are doing something handy with them. Maybe they were in some magazine or something as a do-it-yourself project. But anyway, $19 for that, and didn't pay anything for it. This is a Girl Scout knife that you might have seen in a recent haul video, but it was all grungy and dirty. This is how it looks all cleaned up. It's from Utica Cutmaster, and it sold for $24, and I paid $8 for it. This is an unsigned Renoir Matisse copper bracelet. Came from my mother-in-law, so it cost me nothing. As you can see, it's a little bit distressed. It has some discoloration on it. Sometimes these can sell for a lot. I sold this one for $18. I thought that was pretty fair. This is another little mesh metal bracelet. I got this at the flea market for $2 and sold it for $12. It's, unmarked, nothing real special, but mesh and metal just seem to be selling well right now. And this is a glass paperweight. This is one of the very first ones I bought. It's a Dynasty Gallery art glass paperweight. They're called heirloom collectibles, but for whatever reason they don't sell for as much as some other glass paperweights do. This one I paid, what did I pay? Oops, turn this around. I just paid $1 for it and sold it for $12. And finally, this is a signed glass paperweight from a Polish glassmaker named Adam Jablonski. He's really very, very well known, and he's also really prolific, so there's a lot of his stuff out there, but some of it can sell super duper high. This piece I bought for $12 and sold it for $45. So not too bad. So my total for the 2 weeks gross is $544.50. All of that is buyer pay shipping, so shipping doesn't really figure into this. I paid out $114.60 for all this stuff, So my profit was $429.90, and then I have to take my eBay and Etsy fees out of that, so it's a bit less than that. That's for 2 weeks. I was out of town for a good portion of that 2 weeks, so I don't feel too badly. Not too bad. I feel like it's picking up quite a bit. So thanks for watching. Most of my items are for sale at my shop, which is vintagedazzle.etsy.com. And sometimes I sell on eBay as Karalenox, Karalenox. I will put the links down below in case you're interested and wanting to see what else I have. And, oh, I hear my cat. Never fails. Okay, so here's my shop, so you can just kind of see what it looks like. And I will see you next time with a haul video from the flea market. Thanks. Bye.